You've been trained to react to every comment, every tone, every opinion, every emotion that hits your body like a wave. You've been conditioned to flinch, to defend, to explain, to prove. But every time you react, you lose control. Every emotional outburst costs you power. And every time you choose silence, every time you choose stillness, every time you choose to observe instead of react, you gain it back. You are not your reaction. You are your response. Say it again. You are not your reaction. You are your response. That's the key. That's where strength begins. When something upsets you, most people think power is in reacting fast. They think the loudest person wins. They think dominance is instant aggression. But real control, true command, belongs to the one who pauses first. Think about it. The person who can't control their emotions becomes predictable, and the predictable person can be controlled by anyone. All it takes is the right button, the right word, the right trigger, and they own you. So ask yourself, who owns your triggers right now? Your boss, your ex, strangers online, the friend who knows exactly how to push your buttons? Every time you react, you hand them the remote control to your emotions. And the moment you pause, the second you choose observation over reaction, you take it back. You have a choice every single time. Before you speak, before you send that text, before you reply to that insult, before you take the bait, you have a choice to react or to observe, to be emotional or intentional, to be controlled or to stay calm. You are not your reaction. You are your response. Here's the truth. Emotional control doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop feeding what doesn't serve you. It means you train your mind to process before you act. Start with the 3-second rule. 3 seconds before you react to anything. That's it. Just 3 seconds. When something triggers you, pause. Take one breath. Step back mentally. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Does this deserve my energy? 2. Does this align with who I'm becoming? And 3. What's the smartest move right now? That pause, those 3 seconds, will change your life. Because power lives in that gap, between what happens and how you choose to respond. The world moves fast, but your strength comes from slowing down. When you pause, you see more. You notice details everyone else misses. You see people's motives, not just their words. You hear intention, not just volume. Observation is power. Reacting is surrender. That's why warriors, leaders, and thinkers throughout history trained for calm, not chaos. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The samurai practiced silence before battle. Modern special forces train breathing before action. Because when you control your inner world, the outer world can't shake you. That's the point. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control how you interpret it. You can't stop people from provoking you, but you can stop them from pulling you into their chaos. Remember this. People who lack control want to control you through reaction. They thrive on your anger, your panic, your emotion. Don't give it to them. They expect you to react. Don't. They expect you to defend. Stay silent. They expect you to explain. Stay calm. That silence, that composure, that unbothered energy. It's intimidating because it shows power. It shows that you are not emotionally available for manipulation. You are not your reaction. You are your response. Let's make it practical. Here's what observation looks like in daily life. Someone insults you. Pause, don't reply, watch. See what they're trying to achieve. Are they testing you, seeking validation, hiding their own insecurity? When you observe, you see right through them. Think about a traffic jam. Someone cuts you off. The old you would hit the horn, get angry, maybe shout. The new you takes one breath, a slow exhale, and asks, "Is this worth my peace?" Most of the time, the answer is no. Imagine workplace tension. Someone questions your ability or mocks your idea. You feel that adrenaline rise. Pause. Observe. Your emotion says, fight. Your wisdom says, watch. Respond when you are calm, not when you're triggered. Because emotional people make emotional decisions, and emotional decisions can create permanent damage. You must learn to step back. You must learn to see instead of just feel. You must learn to collect information before you collect offense. That's discipline, that's emotional control. You have a choice every time. You can burn your energy reacting to everything, or you can save that energy for what actually matters. Every pause is a reclaiming of yourself. Every observation is a declaration of strength. You're not suppressing emotion, you're mastering it. You're not ignoring pain, you're translating it. You're not avoiding confrontation, you're choosing precision over chaos. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals, between noise and mastery, between emotion and power. You are not your reaction, you are your response. Now understand this. The world rewards composure. It respects stillness. It follows calm. The most powerful people you know rarely raise their voice. They don't need to. Their energy speaks louder than volume ever could. When you stay calm, people listen differently. Your words carry more weight. Your silence carries more authority. Calm creates control. Control creates confidence. And confidence creates results. That's the chain of power. So if you want to win in life, stop reacting to everything. Start observing everything, every situation, every person, every trigger. Train yourself to see beyond the surface. You can't lead yourself or anyone else if you're always emotionally hijacked. You can't think strategically if you're always thinking defensively. You can't build peace while living in reaction. Your mind must become the command center, not the casualty. Observation is how you rise above the chaos. Observation is how you protect your energy. Observation is how you choose response over reaction. Every single time. Every time you react, you spend energy. Every time you observe, you store it. Energy is a currency. We'll talk more about that later. But for now, just remember, emotional restraint is strength. When you master the pause, you master the outcome. When you stop reacting, you start leading. When you stop defending, you start directing. That's the shift. That's the transformation. You're not the same person who flinched at every word. You're the one who watches, waits, and wins. So take this with you. The next time you feel your emotions rise, say to yourself, pause. To observe, respond. That's your power move. That's your control. You've learned the first step in emotional mastery, observation over reaction. You've learned to stay calm. Now it's time to understand why calm always wins. Chaos exposes weakness. Pressure reveals truth. And in every storm, the calm one wins. That's not some fluffy philosophy. That's reality. History proves it, time and time again. Look at the greats: Marcus Aurelius, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, General Eisenhower. They didn't win because they shouted louder or fought harder. They won because they stayed calm longer. And that is the secret. Calm is not soft, it's not passive. Calm is controlled power. In a world that runs on knee-jerk reactions, calmness is a form of rebellion. You have a choice every single day, in every single moment. You can be emotional or you can be effective, you can react fast or you can respond right. Remember this. Burn it into your mind. When emotions rise, intelligence falls. Say it with me. When emotions rise, intelligence falls. This is exactly why calm always wins. A calm mind is a strategic mind. A reactive mind is a scattered mind. When you're running hot on emotion, you lose your precision. But when you're calm, you see the angles. You notice what everyone else misses because they're blinded by their own internal noise. The calm mind doesn't just survive the chaos, it studies it. It sees the opportunity hidden inside the storm. While everyone else is panicking, the calm one is planning. That is the true nature of power. You think the leader in the room is the one with the loudest voice? Think again. The real leader is the one who stays centered when everyone else is breaking apart. Let's talk about real power. Marcus Aurelius was ruling the Roman Empire while it was being torn apart by war, disease, and betrayal. His own top general turned on him. His country was ravaged by plague. His family faced death. And through all of that, what did he write in his private journal? So you have power over your mind, not outside events. That was his weapon, calmness. Or take Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years locked away in a prison cell. No phone, no freedom, zero control over his environment. And yet, when he finally walked out a free man, he didn't seek revenge. He led a nation towards unity. He didn't react, he responded. That's the fundamental difference between history's victims and history's victors. The calm mind doesn't collapse under the weight of emotion. It channels that emotional energy into precision. It transforms chaos into command. The choice is always yours. Panic or plan. Explode or execute. Be emotional or be strategic. This is the core principle. When emotions rise, intelligence falls. So stay calm and you stay superior. Now let's bring this down from emperors and presidents and talk about you. Because this isn't just about history lessons, it's about your daily storms. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A colleague takes credit for your work. Life just hits you hard. The project fails. The plan falls apart. And your first instinct screams at you to react. But remember, emotion is the enemy of execution. The moment you react, you lose control of the situation. The moment you choose to stay calm, you reclaim it. Every single challenge you face, every argument, every conflict, every setback is a test. It's not a test of your skill or your knowledge. It's a test of your composure. You think your biggest opponent is that other person? It's not. Your biggest opponent is your own emotional impulse. It's that voice in your head that says, I have to fix this right now. The one that says, they disrespected me and I won't stand for it. The one that whispers, I can't handle this. Yes, you can. You just have to stay calm long enough to see clearly again. Clarity only arrives when the noise dies down, and the noise dies down when you stop feeding it with your reactions. That is discipline. That is control. That is leadership. Leadership over yourself. Let me give you a practical tool you can use today. The next time you feel that pressure building, that anger or anxiety rising, just slow your breathing. It sounds ridiculously simple, but it's profoundly effective. Most people forget to breathe properly when they get emotional. Their body goes into fight or flight mode before their mind can even think. So slow your breath, breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 2, breathe out for a count of 4. This isn't just some meditation trick, it's a command. You are sending a signal to your body, telling it, we are not in danger. You are teaching your brain that you are in charge, not your fear. This is what every Navy SEAL, every fighter pilot, every surgeon under pressure is trained to do. Calm is a skill. It's not something you're born with, it's something you practice. You have to train your calm just like you train a muscle in the gym. Every time chaos erupts, you breathe. Every time your emotions spike, you breathe. Every time fear whispers in your ear, you breathe. That breath is your anchor. That pause is your weapon. You simply cannot be logical when you are emotional. It's neurochemically impossible. So calm down first. Always, then, and only then, do you decide. That is how you win. Here's the absolute truth. You can't stop the storms of life from coming. You can only stop yourself from becoming a part of the chaos. That is emotional mastery. It's not about escaping the storm, but about learning to stand still and centered in the middle of it. The world wants you to react. The news, social media, other people's opinions, endless arguments. It all feeds on your emotional response. Don't give it away for free. Hold on to your power, stay calm, and watch how the world changes around you. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building a stronger mindset. I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem unshakable? When chaos erupts, they're the ones who stay grounded. It's like they have a secret superpower. Well, what if I told you that superpower is something you can learn? Think about it. When someone tries to provoke you, what are they really looking for? A reaction. They want to see you get angry, frustrated, or flustered. But if you stay calm, you take away their power. They can't rattle a mountain. They can't manipulate someone who refuses to be moved. This is why calm people often seem so mysterious. It's why quiet people can command a room without saying a word. Restraint feels like power because it is power. You don't need anyone's permission to be calm. You don't need their approval to stay centered. It's a choice you make, for you. And that choice, moment by moment, defines everything. When you choose calm, you're not choosing to be passive. You're choosing clarity over confusion. You're choosing strength over impulsiveness. In a world of overreactions, choosing calm is an act of superiority. So stay calm and you stay in control. The calm mind also understands the long game. It isn't desperate for instant gratification or validation. It doesn't feel the need to win every small argument right now. It knows that patience will always beat panic. So many people sabotage their own progress because they react too quickly. They give up too soon. They argue for too long. They let temporary emotions dictate decisions that require logic. But the calm mind is different. It waits. It observes. It acts only when the time is right. This is how legacies are built. It's how true respect is earned. It's how mastery is achieved and maintained. If you want real, lasting power, you have to learn to wait. Not in weakness, but in a state of readiness. That's the true nature of calm. It's not about just sitting still and doing nothing. It's about being ready without being reckless. It's the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is a knee-jerk emotional outburst. A response is a considered strategic action. You're ready to act, not to explode. You're ready to decide, not to defend. This is the mindset that consistently wins. There's an old saying, when emotions rise, intelligence falls. It's true. The moment you let anger or fear take the wheel, you've already started to lose. So the goal is simple. Stay calm. Stay superior. And here's something else to remember. Calm is contagious. In a crisis, who do people look to? The person who is panicking or the one who is centered? We are naturally drawn to stability. When you embody calm, you become an anchor in the storm for everyone around you. You become the eye of the hurricane, still, steady, and unshaken. That is the essence of leadership. That is real strength. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight every single battle to win the war. Sometimes the most powerful weapon you have is your own composure. The next time life tries to shake you, don't meet its chaos with more chaos. Match it with your calm. Because calm isn't about the absence of emotion. It's about the mastery of it. You can feel anger, fear, or frustration, but you don't have to let them control you. You can't always choose the storm you find yourself in, but you can always choose your state of mind. And the one who chooses calm ultimately chooses power. Stay calm, stay superior, always. So far, we've explored why calm is a superpower. We've seen how composure in the face of chaos gives you command over your life. But knowing why is only the first step. Now let's go deeper. You've learned to value your calm, now it's time to learn how to protect it. How do you build a fortress around your mind so that nothing can disturb your peace? It starts with recognizing your triggers. What are the specific situations, words, or people that consistently get a reaction out of you? Write them down. Acknowledging them is the first step to disarming them. Next, practice proactive calm. Don't wait for a crisis to try and find your center. Integrate moments of stillness into your daily life. This could be 5 minutes of quiet meditation in the morning, a mindful walk during your lunch break, or simply focusing on your breath for 60 seconds before a difficult conversation. These small deposits into your calm account build a massive reserve for when you really need it. Another powerful technique is to create distance between a stimulus and your response. When you feel that familiar rush of anger or anxiety, don't just react. Pause, take a deep breath, count to 10. This tiny gap is where your power lies. It gives your logical mind a chance to catch up with your emotional brain. In that space, you can ask yourself, is reacting worth my peace? Will it get me closer to my goal? Most of the time, the answer is no. Protecting your calm also means curating your environment. Limit your exposure to negativity, whether it's from social media, the news, or draining relationships. Your mental space is sacred. Be as selective about what you let into your mind as you are about what you let into your home. A calm mind can't flourish in a chaotic environment. And finally, reframe your perspective on challenges. Instead of seeing a difficult situation as a threat, view it as an opportunity to practice your calm, to test your strength, to prove your mastery. Every challenge you face with composure reinforces your power and makes you even more unshakable for the next one. Building and protecting your calm is a lifelong practice, not a one-time fix. But every time you choose composure over chaos, you are casting a vote for a stronger, more powerful version of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the power of calm. If this resonated with you, I'd be grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content on building a stronger mindset. Remember, the world will always be noisy. Your job is to find the stillness within. The world is loud, everywhere you look, noise, every scroll, every comment, every headline, it's all designed to make you react. That's the game. And most of us are losing, because the moment you react, you feed the noise. The more you feed it, the more it owns you. But you have a choice. You can join the noise or you can rise above it. That's the key. That's where your power begins. True power starts the moment you stop feeding the noise. Think about it. Every notification is bait. Every controversial opinion is a trap. Every online argument is a test of your discipline. You think you're choosing to engage, but really, you're being pulled. You're being trained to respond, to defend, to prove yourself. But you don't need anyone's permission to stay quiet. You don't need their validation to stay focused. Because their chaos is not your command. Say that with me. Their chaos is not your command. When you detach from the noise, you regain your focus. You regain your peace. You regain your direction. Every reaction you give takes energy. And every ounce of energy you waste on noise is energy you lose from your purpose. Let us be honest with ourselves. You cannot build anything meaningful if you are addicted to noise. You can't think deeply if you're constantly reacting to shallow things. The world wants your attention, not your growth. It wants your emotion, not your mastery. This is why discipline starts with detachment. It's not about ignoring the world. It's about not letting the world dictate your internal state. That's the difference between people who drift through life and people who direct their lives. Drifters follow noise, leaders follow purpose. You have to choose which one you are, every single day, every hour, every scroll. You have to ask yourself, does this serve me or does it distract me? If it distracts you, cut it out. If it drains you, detach from it. If it pulls you away from your peace, it doesn't deserve your presence. That is the discipline of detachment. But here's what most people don't get. The noise isn't just external, it's internal too. It's that constant voice in your head, the one that tells you you're behind, the one that says you need to prove yourself, the one whispering that everyone else is doing better. That voice is noise, and that noise is lethal. Because when your mind is crowded, your instincts are muted. When your mind is loud, your wisdom gets drowned out. You can't find clarity when you're tuned into chaos. You can't follow your purpose if you're chasing validation from others. This is why stillness feels so uncomfortable for most people, because they've been addicted to noise for too long. They can't sit in silence because silence reveals the truth, and the truth demands change. But here is the one truth you need to hear today. You will never rise above the noise you keep feeding. Stop feeding it. Stop the endless scrolling. Stop replying to every comment that doesn't matter. Stop chasing approval from people who don't even know themselves. You have a choice, detach or drown. Let me give it to you straight. The world is engineered to steal your focus. Every app, every feed, every debate. It's not there to inform you. It's there to keep you emotional. Because emotional people are easy to control. Calm people, on the other hand, can't be manipulated. You're not meant to absorb everything. You're meant to filter. You're meant to observe. You're meant to decide what deserves your energy. Remember, their chaos is not your command. When someone attacks you online, observe, don't react. When a coworker provokes you, pause, don't respond. When gossip starts, walk away. That isn't weakness, that is control. Every time you resist the urge to react, you build strength. Every time you detach, you grow in power. Because discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about what you don't allow to disturb you. You need to understand something fundamental. Your focus is your life. Where your focus goes, your life follows. So when your focus is consumed by noise, your life becomes chaos. But when your focus is protected, your life becomes purpose-driven. You have to protect your mental environment like it's sacred, because it is. You can't grow a powerful mind in a polluted space. You can't build peace in a place filled with noise. So create distance. Distance from drama. Distance from distraction. Distance from emotional chaos. This isn't isolation. It's insulation. You're not running away from the world. You're learning how to move through it without losing yourself. This is emotional control in action. Start with boundaries. Digital boundaries, social boundaries, mental boundaries. Mute, block, unfollow. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. Silence your notifications. Schedule time offline. Turn your mornings into sacred hours. No screens, no news, no noise. The morning sets your mental tone for the entire day, and the tone you set becomes the life you live. Start your day with silence, not noise. End your day with reflection, not reaction. That's how you regain control. That's how you build a fortress around your focus. Your energy is limited, your focus is finite, and your peace is priceless. Let me repeat it again because it's worth burning into your mind. Their chaos is not your command. You don't need to fix every argument. You don't need to respond to every opinion. You don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. Sometimes silence says more than a reaction ever could. That's how you win without wasting energy. That's how you dominate without even engaging. That's what detachment really means. It's not coldness, it's clarity. It's not ignorance, it's intelligence. You're choosing not to play their game because you've already outgrown it. You have a choice in every moment. Noise or focus, chaos or control, emotion or direction. Choose direction, choose focus, choose control. Detach from the noise and you'll finally hear yourself again. When you stop feeding the noise, the world gets quiet. And when the world gets quiet, you start hearing the truth. That truth is your compass. That truth is your peace. That truth is your power. Detach from the noise, not because you don't care, but because you do. You care too much about your own growth to waste it on distraction. That is real discipline. That is emotional control, because peace isn't just found in total silence. True peace is found in the ability to stay calm in the middle of chaos. You've learned how to stay calm. You've learned how to protect that calm. But protection means nothing without mastery. You've detached from the noise. Now it's time to master the pause. Power doesn't shout. Power doesn't rush. Power pauses. The most powerful people in the world pause before they move, before they speak, before they react. Not because they're uncertain, but because they're calculating. A pause isn't weakness, it's control. It's clarity, it's command, that's the key. When you pause, you decide who's in charge, your emotion or your intention. And that decision changes everything. Most people don't pause. They explode, they blurt, they rush to defend, to argue, to prove, and every time they do, they give their power away. They think they're standing up for themselves, but they're just showing how easily they can be pulled, how easily they can be provoked, how easily they can be controlled. You have a choice. You can be impulsive, or you can be intentional. That's what separates the amateur from the professional, the child from the leader. The professional pauses. In the military, they call it the tactical pause. When chaos hits, when bullets fly, when the mission changes, when everything starts collapsing. The best soldiers don't panic. They pause, they breathe, they scan, they assess. Because they know something most people don't. Reacting fast is not the same as reacting smart. Speed means nothing without strategy. A Navy SEAL once said, "Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast." That's the art of the pause. It's the ability to create a moment of stillness inside chaos. That stillness saves lives in combat. And it can save your life in the everyday battles you face. Arguments, conflicts, decisions, temptations. Here's the truth. The pause is not a delay. It's a decision point. It's where emotion meets discipline. It's where reaction transforms into response. You can feel anger and still pause. You can feel fear and still pause. You can feel pressure and still pause. Because the pause isn't about feeling nothing. It's about controlling what happens next. That's emotional control in motion. Every emotional mistake in your life happened because you skipped the pause. Think about it. That message you regret sending. That argument you shouldn't have started. That decision you rushed because you were afraid of missing out. You didn't pause. You reacted. And reaction is the enemy of power. When you react, you surrender control. When you pause, you take it back. That's the difference between the people who lead and the people who follow. The people who pause, lead. The people who react, chase. You don't need their permission to slow down. You don't need their approval to think first. You just need the discipline to pause. Let's make it practical. Here's how you train the pause. Step 1, breathe. That's your anchor. One deep breath before you respond to anything. Inhale discipline. Exhale emotion. Step 2, label. Call it out. I'm angry. I'm anxious. I'm defensive. Naming the emotion separates you from it. You are not your emotion. You are the one observing it. Step 3. Decide. Ask one simple question. Will reacting serve me or drain me? If it drains you, don't do it. If it weakens you, walk away. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. That's how you master the pause. You have to understand, the pause is a skill. It's trained, it's built. It doesn't come naturally because our brains crave speed. We want to fix, we want to fire back. We want to prove we're right. But every time you give in to that impulse, you lose something. Your credibility, your composure, your strength. The pause protects all three. It keeps you grounded when everything else is shaking. It keeps you focused when everything else is noisy. It keeps you strategic when everyone else is emotional. That's why calm people are always underestimated until the results come in. Because while everyone else was reacting, they were thinking, they were watching, they were planning. And when they finally moved, it looked effortless. That's what mastery looks like. It's not flash, it's precision, it's not emotion, it's execution. Pause before you speak. Pause before you decide. Pause before you hit send. Pause before you fight back. That 1 second, that one breath, can change the entire outcome of your day. The pause turns chaos into clarity. The pause turns triggers into training. The pause turns emotion into elevation. That's the key. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people go wrong. They think pausing makes them slow. They think pausing makes them weak. They think they'll miss their moment. Wrong. Pausing doesn't make you slow. It makes you sharp. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It doesn't make you late. It makes you precise. You're not missing your moment. You're making sure you move at the right one. The pause creates timing. And timing is everything. When you master timing, you control the rhythm of your world. You move when others stumble. You speak when others shout. You strike when it matters most. That's power. Every legend, every warrior, every leader, every thinker mastered the pause. Marcus Aurelius paused before judgment. Mandela paused before anger. Seals pause before action. Because they all knew the same truth. Calm is faster than chaos. You can't build strength in motion if you never stop to aim. You can't make progress if you're constantly reacting to pressure. The pause gives you space, and space gives you clarity. That's where you find your edge. That's where you find yourself. You have to make the pause part of your identity. You're not someone who rushes. You're not someone who reacts. You're someone who responds. That's the new standard. That's emotional mastery in action. Say it out loud. I control the pause. The pause controls the power. Repeat it until it becomes your instinct. Because the pause is not just a tool, it's a mindset, it's a code. It's the silent declaration that you are in charge of yourself. No matter what's happening, no matter who's provoking, no matter how loud the world gets, you don't fold, you pause. And then you choose your move. That's the art of control. You've learned to stop reacting. You've learned to detach from noise. Now you've learned to master the pause, the heartbeat of composure. But there's another level. Because even the strongest minds lose their edge when they're drained, when they're overstimulated, when they forget to reset. Mastering the pause gives you control in the moment. But what about control over the long run? That's where recovery begins. That's where renewal lives. That's where your stillness becomes strength. You've learned to pause. Now let's talk about how to recharge. Have you ever noticed how we treat pain? The moment it shows up, we do everything we can to get rid of it. We distract ourselves. We numb it. We run from it. We treat it like an enemy we have to defeat. But what if I told you that pain isn't the enemy? Pain is the signal. Pain is the teacher. The real problem is, most of us never learned how to listen. We just react. And every time we run, we lose the lesson. True emotional control isn't about escaping pain. It's about using it. It's about understanding that pain isn't some random personal attack. It's feedback. It's your mind and body telling you, hey, pay attention. Something right here needs to change. But instead of listening, what do? We fight it. We get caught up in overthinking, blaming others, or scrolling endlessly on our phones. We turn a moment that could bring clarity into a cycle of chaos. Why? Because we were never taught how to just sit with discomfort without immediately reacting to it. Let's get one thing straight. Feeling pain doesn't make you weak. It reveals where you need to grow. When you feel that ache, Whether it's heartbreak, failure, or loneliness, you're being invited to evolve. That's the opportunity hidden inside the hurt. You can either react and stay stuck, or you can learn and move forward. The choice is always yours. Think about it. Every single breakthrough you've ever had in your life probably started with some form of discomfort. The gym hurts before you see strength. Loneliness stings before you find true independence. Failure feels awful before you gain wisdom. Pain is designed to precede progress. But there's a catch. This only works if you process it, not personalize it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one simple shift in perspective changes everything. It's how you take back control. It's how you start using pain instead of letting it use you. The pain itself is neutral. It's the story we tell ourselves about it that creates suffering. The pain is real, but the drama we attach to it is what makes it unbearable. You got rejected. That's pain. You telling yourself you're not good enough and never will be. That's suffering. You lost someone important. That's pain. You telling yourself you'll never be whole again. That's suffering. Pain gives you the raw data. Your ego adds the dramatic storyline. The key is to separate the two. Your emotions are not instructions telling you what to do. They are information telling you what's happening inside you. So feel it. Don't feed it. So what does this look like in real time? Imagine you feel that sting of being hurt. Instead of immediately reacting, you pause, you take a deep breath. You just observe the feeling without judging it. You don't grab your phone to look for a distraction. You don't call a friend for instant validation. You don't try to drown it out with noise or comfort food. You just listen. What is this emotion really telling me? What's underneath it? Is it anger? Is it fear of being abandoned? Is it a feeling of insecurity? Pain is rarely about what's happening on the surface. It's almost always pointing to a deeper root cause. And if you never dig for that root, you'll just keep repeating the same emotional patterns over and over again, like a broken record. This is the fundamental difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. One group feels their pain to understand it. The other group feeds their pain, making it bigger and stronger. When you constantly feed your pain, you start to make it your identity. You start saying things like, "I'm just a broken person," or "I'm always so unlucky," or "I guess I'm not built for success." That's a story you're telling yourself. It's not the truth. Pain is a temporary visitor, but the story you create around it can last a lifetime if you keep giving it energy. The secret is detachment. You are not your pain. You are the observer of your pain. You are the student learning from it. That shift in perspective is where your power lies. Let me tell you something crucial. Every emotionally strong person you admire, every calm, composed, unshakable individual, has been through immense pain. The only difference between them and everyone else is that they learned how to use it. They didn't see it as a punishment. They saw it as preparation. They didn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They understood, "This is happening for me." That's not a cliché, that's clarity. They turned heartbreak into hunger for a better life. They turned rejection into a redirection toward their true path. They turned fear into fuel for their ambitions. They didn't numb it, they transformed it. And you can do the exact same thing, but you have to stop running. You can't heal from what you refuse to feel. So here's a simple but not easy process for transformation. Step 1. Sit with it. The next time pain shows up, don't move. Don't rush to a distraction. Just sit there and breathe. Let the feeling wash over you without resisting it. Step 2. Name it. Give the emotion a label. Is it anger, disappointment, shame, fear? When you name it, you create a separation between you and the feeling. It's no longer you, it's something you are observing. Step 3. Learn from it. Ask the golden question. What does this pain want me to understand? Maybe it's showing you a boundary you let someone cross. Maybe it's revealing an unrealistic expectation you had. Maybe it's teaching you the difficult but necessary lesson of letting go. Whatever the answer is, write it down. Reflect on it. Don't just react to it. This is how pain becomes your greatest teacher. Let's quickly talk about triggers. A trigger is what happens when unprocessed pain becomes toxic. It means you didn't learn the lesson. You just buried the feeling. Now, every time something reminds you of that old wound, your body reacts as if the trauma is happening all over again. That's not a sign of strength. That's a sign of old programming running your life. To break that pattern, you have to be brave enough to go back to the original pain and finally process it. You have to face it until the trigger loses its power over you. That's how you finally set yourself free. True control isn't about avoiding pain. It's about not letting pain control you. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Pain in life is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You can't live a meaningful life without some discomfort. You can't grow without friction. You can't evolve without resistance. Every painful moment is an invitation to mastery. It's a test from the universe, and it's a teacher in disguise. The question is always the same. Will you take the lesson, or will you be forced to repeat the pain? Let this be your new mantra. Feel it. Don't feed it. When you feel pain, you acknowledge it. When you feed pain, you amplify it. But when you use pain, you transcend it. Every moment of discomfort is a doorway. You can either walk through it toward growth, or you can walk away from it and ultimately away from yourself. Don't run from your pain. Run through it, because that's where your transformation begins. Pain teaches you patience. It builds your resilience. It creates depth in your character. Without it, we stay shallow, soft, and reactive. But when you master it, when you let it shape you instead of break you, you become untouchable. That is the essence of true emotional control. You've now learned how to stop running from discomfort and how to start converting your pain into power. But there's another level to this. Because the more you detach from your pain, the more you'll realize that attachment itself is the real enemy. The need to hold on, the need to control, the need to prove yourself. You've faced pain. Now it's time to master detachment. Let's talk about a word that gets a bad rap. Detachment. People hear detachment and think of coldness, apathy, or indifference, but that's not it at all. True detachment is clarity. It's awareness without entanglement. It's power without pressure. And that, right there, is the key. Because think about it. The more attached you are to a specific outcome, the more your emotions own you. And the more your emotions own you, the easier you are to control. You really only have two choices. You can live your life pulled around by your attachments, or you can live guided by your discipline. Here's the hard truth. Attachment is the silent thief of peace. We attach to everything, to people, to getting their validation, to results, to our daily routines, to approval, to how we think things should go. And the moment any of that changes, when people leave, when the results don't match our expectations, when life just shifts, our emotional world collapses. That's not love, it's dependency. That's not loyalty, it's control disguised as care. The real goal is to love, to commit, to give your all, but without clinging. Because the second you start clinging, you stop seeing clearly. Once you cling, you stop deciding wisely. You have to detach to see clearly. Detach to decide wisely. Let's break this down. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop chasing. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing attention. You stop chasing control over things you can't control. It means you learn to exist in peace, even when things don't go your way. You learn to be calm, even when people disappoint you. You learn to let things end without letting them break you. That is strength. That is emotional maturity. It's not about not caring. It's about caring correctly. Here's the paradox. The more you need something, the less power you have over it. Need creates fear. Fear creates reaction, and reaction creates chaos. When you detach, you remove the leverage others have over your emotions. You cut the strings that make you dance to their tune. You stop reacting to every little rise and fall. You stop depending on external peace to create your internal calm. That's real power. Look at some of the most composed leaders in history. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, the Buddha, even modern strategists and operators. What did they all master? Detachment. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's detachment in action. Control what you can and release what you can't. When you finally stop trying to control everything, you gain control over the one thing that matters: yourself. The emotionally weak person ties their peace to their circumstances. They're fine when things go their way, but they completely collapse when they don't. The emotionally strong person stays steady regardless. Why? Because they've learned to separate their internal state from the external situation. That is the ultimate lesson. You don't need everything to be okay for you to be okay. That's freedom. And you get there through detachment. So, let's get practical. How do you actually train this skill? Step 1. Notice your emotional hooks. Throughout your day, ask yourself, what am I attaching to right now? Is it a person's opinion? A specific outcome at work? The need to be right in an argument? Once you identify the hook, you can start the process of unhooking. Step 2. Release the story. Attachment grows from the stories we tell ourselves, the expectations about how things should be. Drop the should. Accept what is. This doesn't mean you stop trying to improve things. It just means you stop suffering over the gap between your expectation and reality. Step 3. Return to the present moment. Detach by bringing your focus back to the now. Not tomorrow's worries, not what if, right now, this breath, this moment. This is where your control lies. That's how you train it day by day. You don't need their permission to let go. You don't need closure to move on. You don't need a perfect outcome to feel peace. All you need is the discipline to stop clinging to what no longer serves you. Think of attachment as emotional debt. It keeps you owing your peace to something outside of yourself. Detachment pays that debt off. Every time you let go, you earn a piece of your freedom back. Let's make it real with a few examples. You text someone and they don't reply. The voice of attachment says, "Why are they ignoring me? What did I do wrong?" The voice of detachment says, "Maybe they're busy. Either way, I'm fine." You don't get the job you wanted. Attachment screams, "I'm not good enough." Detachment calmly states, "That wasn't my door. I'll find the right one." You're criticized. Attachment panics and says, "I need to defend myself. They're wrong." Detachment observes, "Their opinion doesn't define me." That is what emotional control looks like in practice. You don't let external noise dictate your internal balance. You have to train your mind to release faster, to stop dwelling, to stop overanalyzing, to stop building castles in the sky out of moments that don't even matter. The faster you detach, the faster you recover. Most people stay stuck, not because the pain is too big, but because their attachment is too strong. They replay the event. They revisit the conversation. They reopen the same wound every single day, and they call it caring. That's not care. That's self-inflicted chaos. You have to let it go. You can't move forward with your hands full of yesterday. Remember this. You are not what you lose. You are not what leaves you. You are not defined by what doesn't go your way. You are defined by what you choose to stay focused on. That's your strength. That's your control. Emotional detachment isn't about running away from the storm. It's about standing still while the storm passes without letting it shake your core. You don't suppress your emotions. You process them. You don't deny reality. You accept it. You don't force outcomes. You align with the flow of life. That's balance. That's peace. So let go of what doesn't want to stay. Stop chasing what doesn't want to be caught. Stop fighting for things that only drain you. Your peace is not up for negotiation. You have a choice: stay attached and suffer, or detach and rise. And when you rise, you see everything differently. You see who's real. You see what truly matters. And you finally see what was never meant for you in the first place. That's the gift of detachment. It clears your vision. It's so important to understand. Detachment is not the end of care. It's the beginning of control. It doesn't close your heart. It strengthens it. It doesn't make you less human. It makes you more stable. The detached mind is not numb. It's aware. It's grounded. It's free. Because once you stop needing everything to go your way, you'll find that everything starts flowing your way. You become magnetic. You become centered. You become unshakable. That's emotional mastery. But detachment alone is not enough. Once you've reclaimed your calm, you must protect it. You must guard your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You can't give your energy to everything and everyone and expect to stay powerful. You've learned to detach. Now it's time to learn how to protect your energy, the true currency of discipline. But we'll save that for next time. Self-control isn't a gift, it's a discipline. It's not something you're born with, it's something you build. Every single time you want to react but hold back, you're building strength. Every time you feel like exploding but choose to stay calm, you're building control. And every time you resist that powerful urge to prove a point, to fight back, or to defend your ego, you're building real power. This is the secret. Emotional control isn't forged in moments of comfort. It's built under pressure. You don't just wake up calm when life is easy. You become calm when life puts you to the test and you refuse to flinch. That is the discipline of non-reaction. Think about it. Most people live on autopilot. They react before they even think. They speak before they take a breath. They let every little emotion, every insult, every inconvenience hijack their focus. And that's why they stay trapped, controlled by their circumstances instead of commanding them. But you have a choice. You can live a reactive life, or you can live a deliberate one. The reactive mind is a slave to the moment. The deliberate mind is a powerful weapon. And here's the honest truth. Your success, your peace of mind, your relationships, they all hinge on one single skill, the ability to stay still when the world is trying to shake you. Non-reaction isn't about apathy or not caring. It's about having power with precision. It's about being aware before you act. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing only what truly matters. When you master the art of non-reaction, you stop wasting precious energy. You stop feeding conflict. You stop fighting battles that don't even deserve your attention. Because not every fight is your fight. Not every comment needs a response. Not every moment deserves your emotional energy. That is control. That is true composure. So let's talk about training, because self-control is a muscle. And just like any other muscle, it needs to be worked on every single day. Let's start with ritual number 1. Silence. Just 5 minutes a day. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and complete stillness. You'll notice something interesting. Your mind starts to panic a little. It craves stimulation. It wants to escape. That's your first lesson. Your impulses hate silence because silence exposes them. But you have to stay still anyway. That silence is your training ground. Next up, ritual number 2, journaling. When the emotional storm has passed, write down what triggered you. Describe the situation. Write down your first raw emotional impulse, and then write what you actually did instead. This is how you build self-awareness, by identifying that tiny gap between the trigger and your response. That gap is everything. The reactive person has no gap. They just explode instantly. The disciplined person works to stretch that gap a little wider every single day. That gap is where wisdom lives. That's where your strength grows. And finally, ritual number 3, breathwork. It's incredibly simple, but it's powerful. When you feel that spike of emotion, just breathe. I don't mean shallow, anxious breaths. I mean deep, slow, intentional breaths. It's pure biology. You physically cannot be in a state of panic and breathe deeply at the same time. 3 deep breaths can completely change your state of mind. 3 breaths can save you from saying something you'll regret for weeks. 3 breaths can turn chaos into clarity. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of elite training. The top performers in the world, we're talking soldiers, elite athletes, top executives, they all train this. A Navy SEAL calls it the tactical pause. Before reacting in a combat situation, before shouting a command, before pulling a trigger, they pause, they breathe, they think, they decide. Why? Because a knee-jerk reaction kills clarity. And in their world, clarity saves lives. It's the exact same in your life. You might not be in a combat zone, but you face constant pressure. And that pause, that moment of silence, that stillness, that's your armor. That's how you maintain command of yourself when everyone else around you is losing it. Non-reaction isn't passive. It's tactical. It's power disguised as patience. You're not ignoring reality, you're mastering it. When you refuse to react, you keep your emotional energy contained. You control the pace. You decide when and where to act, if at all. And that's what makes you formidable in the best way possible. Because no one can predict you. No one can manipulate you. And no one can break you. You're grounded, you're centered, you're focused. Here's something most people never get. Reacting feels powerful in the moment, but it's weakness in disguise. It feels good to clap back. It feels satisfying to prove your point or release that pent-up frustration. But you always pay for that fleeting moment of satisfaction with long-term regret. Reaction is short-term pleasure, but it causes long-term damage. Non-reaction is short-term restraint, but it leads to long-term mastery. You have a choice. That's the key. Let's apply this to real life. When someone disrespects you, breathe. When your plans completely fall apart, breathe. When you're criticized, ignored, or misunderstood, breathe. Then ask yourself one simple question. What outcome do I really want here? Because your emotion just wants a quick release, but your discipline wants results. This isn't about your ego, it's about your growth. You don't need to prove you're right. You need to prove you're in control. That is the fundamental mindset shift. Think of yourself as an athlete of the mind, an emotional warrior. Athletes visualize resistance before it ever arrives. They train their bodies to stay ready for the pressure. You must do the same, but with your emotions. Visualize stress before it happens. Visualize insults, loss, delays, and pressure, and in your mind see yourself staying calm through it all. This isn't just daydreaming, this is preparation. So when that moment finally comes, you don't collapse. You respond with control because you've already rehearsed it. That's what the best of the best do. Remember, the disciplined don't need to prove their strength. Their silence is their strength. The disciplined don't need to show off their control. Their restraint is their control. When you stop reacting to everything, you become unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you become untouchable. That is emotional freedom. You can't be baited. You can't be provoked. You can't be moved by all the noise. You are steady. You are deliberate. You are dangerous. In the calmest, most powerful way possible. Non-reaction is how you protect your energy. It's how you preserve your peace. It's how you make every single move from a place of power, not panic. Because every reaction costs you energy. And every ounce of energy you waste on useless emotion is energy you steal from your actual mission in life. This isn't about being a robot. It's about being precise. It's about knowing that not every situation deserves a piece of your peace. That is the art of discipline. So remember the rituals. Silence trains your awareness. Journaling sharpens your control. Breathwork resets your entire state. Repeat them until they become instinct. Until staying calm feels more natural than reacting. That's the level you're aiming for, where your stillness becomes your greatest strength. Because when you no longer react to everything, you finally gain the power to act on anything that truly matters. You have a choice. You always do. And every time you choose calm over chaos, focus over fury, patience over pride, you win another quiet battle within yourself. That's where mastery is built. You've now learned the discipline of non-reaction. You've started to build the muscle that will keep you steady under pressure. But there's another test coming. Because discipline isn't just about what you don't do. It's also about what you keep doing, day in and day out. Hey, think about this for a second. Your energy is currency. Every single thought, every emotion, every reaction you have, it costs you something. You're spending energy every second of every day. So the real question is, are you spending it to grow, or are you spending it to decay? Most people don't go broke financially. They go broke emotionally. They spend all their precious energy on noise, pointless arguments, other people's opinions, endless negativity and drama. And then they're left wondering why they have nothing left for their own purpose, for their own dreams. They wake up completely drained, not because they worked too hard, but because they leaked their energy everywhere that didn't matter. You have to start treating your energy like a currency and think like an investor, not an impulsive spender. Your mind is your bank account. Your focus is your balance. And every single one of your reactions is a withdrawal. Every argument you get sucked into, that's a payment. Every complaint you repeat over and over, that's a fee. Every grudge you hold on to, that's interest, draining you daily without you even noticing. You have to protect your peace like it's your paycheck, because frankly it is. Just look around. The loudest people are often the most exhausted. The ones constantly fighting online, chasing validation, the ones who can't sit still because they're addicted to conflict. They might think they're winning, but really, they're just spending all their power on dust. You can't buy personal growth with gossip. You can't find clarity in conflict. And you definitely can't build strength with noise. Your energy is your wealth. It's time to start treating it that way. Here's a truth that might sting a little. You don't need more time. You need more energy. Time without energy is completely useless. You can have 24 hours in a day, but if your energy is scattered all over the place, your potential is just wasted. This is why emotional control is so critical. It's not about being cold or unfeeling. It's about being cost-efficient with your most valuable resource. You simply can't afford to be reckless with your focus. You can't afford to spend your mental currency on things that give you no return. So, take a moment and ask yourself, where is my energy leaking? Who in my life drains me? What habits drain me? What thoughts are keeping me stuck in an emotional overdraft? Deep down, you already know the answers. But for some reason, you keep paying the bill. Every complaint, every overreaction, every moment you spend trying to prove your worth to people who don't even see it, that's a withdrawal. And then you wonder why you're so tired, so anxious, so uninspired. It's because you're broke, not in money, but in energy. But you have a choice. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Track your emotional spending. For just one day, notice where your focus goes. Who do you think about the most? What conversations leave you feeling tense or heavy? What content on your phone makes you angry? That's your transaction history. If it doesn't bring you peace, clarity, or progress, it's a bad investment. You wouldn't spend your money on junk food that makes you sick. So why are you spending your energy on people and problems that make you weak? This is the mindset of emotional minimalism. Step 2. Eliminate the low-return energy traps. Some people are like energy black holes. They only take, they never give. Every interaction leaves you feeling drained. You don't owe them access to your life. You don't need their permission to protect your own peace. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop defending yourself in debates that don't matter. Stop trying to prove your worth where it's already being ignored. This isn't about ego, it's about discipline. Every time you feel the need to say, "Let me explain," that's a withdrawal. Every thought of "they just don't get me" is wasted energy. Detach. Withdraw your investment from anything that doesn't grow your strength or your stability. That is emotional discipline. Step 3. Reinvest your energy. So, where should your focus go? Into things that multiply your power, your growth, your health, new skills, your purpose, your peace. These are high-yield investments. Read a book instead of getting into an argument. Go for a run instead of complaining. Make a plan instead of panicking. This is how you multiply your energy. This is how you build real mental wealth. Because here's the absolute truth: what you feed grows. If you feed your frustration, you grow chaos. If you feed your discipline, you grow freedom. The choice is yours, every single day, every single moment. Energy management isn't glamorous, it's quiet, it's internal. It's not about doing more, it's about wasting less. You don't need 10 times more effort, you need 10 times more focus. You don't need another motivational speech, you need boundaries. You don't need to convince anyone of anything. You need to conserve your own currency. Think about the most composed, centered people you've ever met. They don't rush. They don't react to everything. They don't fight every single battle. They choose their words carefully. They choose their focus. They protect their time like it's a vault. They aren't cold. They're disciplined. They understand the economy of energy. They know that every emotional reaction has a cost, so they spend wisely. That's why their life looks so effortless, because they're not wasting their effort on everything. It's not magic, it's management. When you truly understand this, you stop chasing exhaustion as if it's a badge of honor. You stop bragging about being busy. Busy is broke, focused is rich. Having energy wealth means you have reserves. You have power in the tank when everyone else is running on fumes. That's what emotional control buys you: endurance, clarity, and direction. A calm, focused mind doesn't waste energy. It compounds it. From now on, every time you feel tempted to argue, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? When you feel triggered, ask, will this pay me back in peace or in regret? If it costs you your peace, it's overpriced. Walk away. You don't need to win every exchange. You need to win yourself. It's not about being right, it's about being wise. You can't control how other people act, but you can control where your energy flows. That's real power. And the more you master this, the more powerful you become. Not louder, but calmer. Not desperate, but deliberate. You become the person who doesn't react to everything because you're too busy building something greater. That's emotional minimalism. That's energy mastery. Protect your peace like it's your paycheck. Guard your focus like it's your fortune. And always remember, every reaction is a transaction. Spend it carefully. You've now learned how to manage your emotional currency, how to protect your focus, preserve your peace, and invest only in what compounds your strength. But there's another layer to this mastery. It's not just about what you protect, it's what you project. Because energy doesn't just react, it radiates. You've learned how to protect your inner world. Now it's time to master how that power moves outward, silently, confidently, and deliberately. Stillness is power. Stillness intimidates the emotional. Silence disarms the reactive. When you stop responding, you force others to reveal themselves. That's the key, because the loudest person in the room isn't the most confident. They read the most desperate. And the quietest person in the room isn't a weak. They read the one in control. Stillness is not weakness. It's control under pressure. You have to understand this truth. In a reactive world, calm is a superpower. Everyone is chasing attention. Everyone is performing. Everyone is arguing to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. But the one who doesn't chase, the one who stands still while the crowd moves, that is the one everyone eventually looks toward. Why? Because stillness is rare. And what's rare is respected. A still mind radiates authority. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to win every argument. It just is. You can feel it in people who've mastered this. They walk into a room and say nothing, yet everyone feels their presence. They don't speak much, yet when they do, people listen. That's not charisma, that's discipline. Because silence is not empty, but it's full of control. Most people can't handle silence. They rush to fill it. They fear what it might expose and their insecurity, their anxiety, their lack of clarity. So they talk, they defend, they justify. The still mind doesn't need to. It knows that silence is often the loudest answer. When someone attacks you and you don't react, they reveal their own instability. When someone gossips and you don't engage, they expose their own insecurity. You have a choice. You can play their game or you can own the board. That's the power of stillness. Let me give you an image. Imagine two warriors facing each other. One shouts, swings wildly, and burns energy fast. The other stands still, calm, steady, waiting for the right moment. Who's in control? The still one. Always. Because control is not about movement. It's about presence. It's about patience. Stillness creates tension, and tension, when you can hold it, creates dominance. The emotional can't stand silence. They'll fidget, they'll provoke, they'll try to make you react, because your stillness reminds them of their chaos. That's why calm people seem intimidating. Not because they threaten anyone, but because they mirror everyone's lack of control. The great leaders, thinkers, and warriors all mastered this. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome from stillness. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's stoicism, emotional silence in a storm of chaos. Nelson Mandela survived decades in prison not by reacting, but by observing. He understood that silence gives you leverage. Even in nature, the lion doesn't roar all day. He's silent, composed, watching. That's why every animal respects him. Respect doesn't come from noise, it comes from control. So let's make this practical. How do you train stillness in a reactive world? First, observe before you respond. When someone provokes you, just pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy, or is this a test of my discipline? You'll be amazed at how many situations solve themselves when you say nothing. Because silence forces the truth to surface. People expose themselves when you don't feed their drama. You don't need their permission or validation. You need your peace. Second, practice stillness daily. Take 5 minutes every morning to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no scrolling, no reacting. Just sit, breathe, be present. Stillness is a muscle. You build it by resisting the impulse to move. When your mind says, check your phone, you don't. When your emotions say, respond right now, you don't. That's how you build inner command. That's how you earn respect from yourself first, and from the world second. Third, redefine what strength means to you. You might have been raised to think strength looks like aggression, but the strongest energy is calm. Because anyone can explode, anyone can react. It takes no control to be impulsive, but to stay calm under fire, to hold your line when everything inside you wants to lash out. That's mastery, that's leadership. And that's why stillness commands respect. Because it's rare, it's disciplined, and it's deliberate. But let's go deeper. Stillness doesn't mean inaction. It means intentional action. You don't stop moving, you move strategically. When you stop reacting, your decisions improve. You think clearer, you speak smarter, you act sharper. Because emotion clouds your vision, but stillness clarifies it. It's not about being detached from life, it's about being detached from noise. That's the difference between movement and momentum. Movement is frantic, momentum is focused, stillness creates momentum. In your relationships, stillness earns respect. In your work, stillness earns trust. In your battles, stillness wins wars. People can't read you when you're calm. They can't manipulate you when you're centered. They can't provoke you when you're grounded. That's how you hold power, not through dominance, but through restraint. The world will always try to pull you into reaction, but you have a choice. When you choose stillness, you choose clarity. When you choose silence, you choose strength. Think of a calm mind as a fortress. Every reaction opens a gate. Every silence strengthens the wall. Guard your gates. Protect your focus. Command your energy. You don't owe the world constant access. You owe yourself constant control. Because stillness is not passive. It's active awareness, it's deliberate restraint. It's the choice to let things unfold before you act. That's leadership, of self first and of others second. Here's the truth most people miss. When you stop reacting, you stop being predictable. And unpredictability is power. People can't use your emotions against you if you refuse to show them. They can't drain your energy if you stop giving them your attention. They can't shake you if you're rooted in stillness. You don't fight for respect. You earn it by being unshakable. The still mind commands respect not through noise or pride, but through peace. That's the kind of strength that lasts. You have a choice. You can chase noise and lose yourself, or you can master silence and find yourself. You can keep reacting and stay predictable, or you can become calm, deliberate, and unstoppable. Stillness is not weakness. It's control under pressure. It's power disguised as peace. Protect that power, train that calm, and remember, silence is not your absence, it's your presence, magnified. You've now mastered the art of stillness, the ability to hold control when everyone else loses it. You've learned how silence earns respect and composure commands influence. But the journey doesn't end here, because stillness without purpose is wasted. Now it's time to direct that calm toward creation, to channel that inner control into something lasting. You've built the foundation. Now let's talk about what you build on top of it. What's the loudest voice you'll ever hear? It's not your critics, it's not your friends, it's not even your family. It's the one inside your head. It's you. That inner voice can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can build you up or break you down. It can lead you forward or hold you hostage, and here's the truth. If you don't learn to control that voice, it will control you. Every single day you're in a conversation with yourself, even when you're silent. This is where your mindset is built. This is where your self-image is programmed. This is where your strength or your weakness begins. The world will tell you that mindset is about motivation. It's not. It's management. It's managing the conversation between who you are and who you're becoming. Most people never learn to truly listen to their thoughts. They just absorb them. They believe every word their mind throws at them. I'm not ready. I can't do this. What if I fail? They treat these statements like facts, when in reality they're just noise, echoes of old programming. But you have a choice. You can keep letting that inner voice bully you, or you can reprogram it. You can rewrite the script in your own head. It's not about blind positivity. It's about control. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need your inner voice to stop sabotaging you. This is where emotional mastery starts, inside the dialogue that no one hears but you. It's not about silencing it. It's about commanding it. Your mind doesn't respond to silence. It responds to instruction. If you don't give it direction, it defaults to fear. If you don't guide it, it just repeats old doubts. You must lead yourself. Command your mind and the world will follow. So, let's get practical. How do you command your inner dialogue? Step 1. Catch it. Awareness is your first weapon. When your mind says, "I can't," don't argue with it. Observe it. Label it. That's fear talking. That's doubt. That's the old version of me trying to stay alive. Once you name it, it loses its power over you. Step 2. Challenge it. Ask your mind for evidence. When it says you'll fail, ask based on what? When it says you're not enough, ask according to who? Stop accepting opinions from your fear. Make it prove its case. It never can. You'll quickly realize that most of your self-doubt isn't real, it's recycled. It's just old pain wearing new clothes. So, challenge the voice. Starve it of validation. Step 3. Change the script. Replace the language of weakness with the language of strength. Stop saying, "Why me?" Start saying, "Watch me." Every time your mind says, "This is too hard," answer back with, "That's the point." When it says, "I'm tired," reply, "And I'm still going." This is how warriors and leaders talk to themselves. You don't wait for motivation. You create it through repetition. Discipline is born from dialogue, and dialogue is built through daily direction. Let's go deeper. Your inner voice doesn't just talk, it trains. It trains your nervous system to react a certain way. When your self-talk is negative, your body goes into survival mode. Your breath shortens, your focus narrows, you act small. But when your self-talk is commanding, your body follows. You stand taller, you breathe deeper, you project strength. You literally become what you say to yourself. That's not a cliché, that's biology. Your inner dialogue shapes your state, and your state shapes your results. Here is something most people never realize. You don't arise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your self-talk. If your mind says, "I'm not ready," you'll find reasons not to act. But if your mind says, "I'll find a way," you'll start seeing paths you couldn't see before. The world doesn't change first, you do. Then the world catches up. Every breakthrough starts with a new sentence spoken in your own head. Now let's address the resistance. You'll hear people say, "I can't help how I think." Yes, you can. You've just never trained it. You've trained your body, you've trained your habits, but you've left your inner voice on autopilot. That ends now. From this moment forward, your mind works for you, not against you. Every time it drifts to fear, bring it back to focus. Every time it slips into self-pity, redirect it to purpose. You are the captain. Your thoughts are the crew. And if you don't give them orders, they'll steer you straight into storms. Let's build your new dialogue right now. Here's your foundation. I am in control of my thoughts. I don't need permission to grow. I don't react. I respond. I command my energy. I decide what matters. Repeat them daily. Speak them with conviction. Repetition is reprogramming. You don't rewrite your mind in one day. You train it through consistency. Just like muscles grow through resistance, mental strength grows through repetition. The more you repeat power, the more power becomes your default. And here is what happens when you truly command your inner dialogue. The world loses its power to shake you. Criticism doesn't sting anymore. Failure doesn't define you. Fear doesn't freeze you. Because the moment you control your internal voice, the external noise just becomes background. You become your own authority, your own validation, your own leader. That is transformation. It's not about being fearless, it's about being focused. When your inner world is calm and commanding, your outer world aligns with it. Let me be blunt. Most people lose the battle in their mind before the world even challenges them. They've already surrendered to self-doubt. They've already accepted defeat, silently. But not you. You know the truth now. You have a choice. and your mind obeys the one who commands it. So stop negotiating with weakness. Stop apologizing to fear. Start leading your thoughts the same way you'd lead a team, with clarity, conviction, and consistency. Every time you wake up, you're entering a conversation. The question is, who's in charge? The voice of power or the voice of pity? You decide. And that decision determines everything. Success doesn't start with action. It starts with alignment. When your mind, your emotions, and your actions move in the same direction, your momentum becomes unstoppable. You've learned how to master stillness. You've learned how to protect your energy. Now you've learned how to command the voice inside your own head, the source of all power, peace, and performance. You've taken control of the only thing you truly own, your response. But control isn't the end. It's the foundation. Because once you master your inner world, it's time to move outward, to create impact. You've tamed the mind. Now let's talk about the mission. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on mastering your mind and your life. I'll see you in the next one.